We have done it. We are the 2022 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series World Champions.
Pressure. Come on, Casey.
Clear by 6.
Come on, Casey. Let's go. 100K.
Casey,
Let's go.
Let's
go.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Let's
go. Fucking go.
All these drivers have, but it's great to see when it pays off.
Great accomplishment, too, for XSET to get a championship. We've seen a lot of the NASCAR teams dominate the past.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Anthony Alfredo here, and today we're going to catch up with XSET Gaming eNASCAR driver Casey Kerwin. Him and Ryan Luzar are two eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series competitors. Been with us for 2 years now since our inaugural season last year in the Coke Series. They both won. We have some polls, but finally we've won the world championship. And I know I say finally, it was just our second year in competition, but it was a huge accomplishment, and I'm so proud of our team as a whole. We ended up second in the team standings, and then Casey closed out with the driver championship. In the finale, he actually finished second, and Ryan finished fifth. So solid top five by both drivers to finish the year off. But of course, the ultimate goal is being a champion. So we can check that off the list, and now we just want to go do it again already. I'm so proud of our team. We've come a long way in a short amount of time and accomplished a lot. And of course, I got to give a big shout out and thanks to XSET Gaming for not only signing me, but letting me take the reins and help put this team together. Couldn't be happier with how things have been going, and I'm really excited to see what the future has in store because I know there's a lot more success on the horizon. All right, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the 2022 eNASCAR World Champion Casey Kerwin here. How does that sound, bro? I mean, I've known you for a few years now, and I know, as with all the drivers in the Coke Series, that's the ultimate goal, right? For any sim racer, that's the ultimate goal, is to be a champion. So to cross that off the bucket list finally, what does that mean? And really, how did it all come about, would you say? How long was this in the making, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it feels incredible. It's technically it's been like 5 years in the making, but I mean, you could technically say, 10 years if you go back to when I first started iRacing. Even though, you never really, I guess the journey doesn't really start until you kind of start going for pro and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. Obviously, I mean, even back, I mean, the series has also changed so much. Like even back when I ran my first season, it was kind of hit and miss on who put in a bunch of time and all that. But to the point where it is now, with how much money and everything's on the line, everyone's putting in a ton of effort. You have to be super competitive every week to have a chance at accomplishing something like this. So, and I think last year was really the first year that I kind of got like consistently kind of there every week, at least in the top 10. And then this year was just kind of another step. And a lot of that's obviously thanks to Dead Zone with how their sets have been all year. So, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's clearly just because we changed to the 95. That's what got us there. That was the leap. But, yeah, I mean, it still probably hasn't fully sunk in yet. There's so much that's gone on. I feel like I'm just constantly forgetting a lot of that happened. So, but yeah, I mean, race went good and everything, and I think it was a good show and good in-person event, and all that was fun. So, yeah.
Well, if you ever forget or need to come back to reality, you can just lean over your shoulder there and look at that big stinking trophy behind you that Dale Earnhardt Jr. presented with you at the Hall of Fame after you won. That was cool too. What was it like competing in a live event in general, but arguably the biggest sim racing event of your career? Was that stressful? Was there added pressure? Did it not really affect you at all, or did you enjoy it more so?
Yeah, honestly, I kind of enjoyed it more. Maybe if I didn't win, maybe looking back on it, my opinion would have been different. But the whole time I was enjoying it. I mean, the thing is, we're all in the same boat, right? Like all four of us have to deal with the same stuff. So it's like if there's any annoying sound, everyone's got to deal with it. And honestly, like it wasn't that bad that we could hear the broadcast, but kind of once it was, you're in a rhythm in the race and everything, it just kind of became part of the noise that just kind of blended in. Didn't really make too much of a difference. You could hear it if it got loud, especially towards the end when I just was hoping for no yellow. I would hear like contact, and I'm like, no, please, no. That was about the only thing, but it was cool to have everyone there, and obviously being local, had a bunch of friends and family there, so all that, and yeah, I mean it was cool. Like obviously streaming, I kind of sort of have it. I don't have like my chat up where I can read it for as a distraction during when I'm streaming the races, but I mean chat's kind of there like hyping me up if we're like going for a pass for like top five or lead or whatever. But in person, when you're battling for the lead, you just hear everyone cheering the whole time. So that was cool. Um, yeah, I mean it was just super cool. Also, I mean for me personally, like I especially going into this week when I've already done so many laps of practice, but naturally before a coke race, I try, especially the couple hours leading up, to like just chill a bit, get away from the screens, like not stress out too much, and having like the whole hour where they're like, don't be on the rigs, we got stuff for you guys to do, trophy pictures, talk to people, all that. Kind of kept us away from the rigs, kept your mind off of it for a little bit, and yeah, just cool to share the whole experience with a bunch of people was really cool.
For sure, yeah. I actually remember when I got there, you were so chill, and I'm like, he's either really good at hiding it, or he's really confident, or just comfortable, which was cool to see. And speaking of the live event deal, when I was in the Monday Night Racing League Championship for this year when you came out, it was so weird. You're right. Like when it's so loud like that in the background, because like obviously racing in real life, you have your ear molds in, your helmet on, you're in a race car, 9,000 RPM, you can't hear anything. And under caution, you could probably look up in the grandstands and go, "Wow, there's a lot of people here," but you just don't feel that. It's like a totally different atmosphere. I wouldn't say it feels like there's more pressure. It's just like it's almost like hypes you up, like you said.
Yeah,
When we
yeah,
were
yeah.
brawling for the lead at the end of that race, when I pulled the bump and run, I remember hearing everyone like, "Oh!" Like it was just like
Yeah, yeah.
crazy. It was really cool actually. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a different atmosphere and hard to get used to at first, but it's really cool in its own way. So it's definitely awesome for you to be able to come out on top in person too, because you weren't just racing at home. You were on a stage and had this big celebration, and a lot of people from NASCAR and iRacing. And so you said you started iRacing 10 years ago, and you made the journey, to a professional level in more recent years. But when you initially discovered it, how did you even find out about it, and what made you want to give it a try?
Yeah, so it was actually really cool, and it was a nice full circle moment Tuesday night because so it was my across the street neighbor, my whole childhood basically. His name's Dave. He had like this huge man cave in his garage. Big NASCAR fan. We would like go over every Sunday to go watch the races there. And but he did iRacing back like when it first started. Like he was like a 2007 member, raced to like I think he raced on and off for like a couple years. About 2010, he kind of fizzled out, but he like kind of brought it up to me, and then I was like got interested. Of course, started watching like YouTube videos and stuff, and then ended up getting involved. Uh, and yeah, I just kind of slowly, really, I mean, the first like 3 or 4 years, I only really did like legend cars and like late model stuff, nothing big. And then I finally started kind of trying the NASCAR stuff out. But yeah, it was super cool because I had Dave and his family that I've like known over to watch NASCAR races at his place my whole life. They were all there for the race Tuesday night, so it was super cool. Kind of a nice full circle moment for all that, which was super cool. So
You had an advantage because you were on your SimSeat driving simulator, and not just the rig itself was exactly the same as it is at home, but you had the little table beside you, the Lightning McQueen bucket. Like you made it look like your room in there. So I'm sure you were probably the most immersed or most comfortable out of everyone. But really awesome event. We do have to update your screensaver because I see it's a little bit outdated. You gotta
yeah,
get the
yeah, I'm
number
always 2 years
95 on
behind
there.
on that because this was 2020. Yeah, this was 2020, and I'm pretty sure even during 2020, it was all like my 2018 cars. I'm always like 2 years behind on whenever I finally change them. But I think we have plenty of screenshots now from this past week.
Definitely.
Plenty of screensaver options.
Definitely. That was such an awesome event. I mean, like I said, that's the ultimate goal, and for a lot of those that know me know I'm very passionate about sim racing just because of how realistic it is. People don't pick up Madden or get good at Madden and go become a quarterback of a football team. But when I was starting my racing journey, I discovered sim racing. I built my first computer when I was 12, and I was racing on a G29 at my desk, and got into a real race car, and it was a great way to make that transition, develop some racecraft, learn some of the tracks to be racing at, and I still use it as a training tool to this day. So to see how valuable it is and actually be able to go from racing on your computer to racing the Daytona 500 just puts into perspective how unique sim racing is as an esport, especially iRacing in particular. So it means a lot to me to be a part of the XSET team, and I know when I first brought them into iRacing and we got the great news that we would have a charter, if that's what you want to call it, or a Coke Series team, they didn't know anything about sim racing, let alone NASCAR. So they were like, who do we get? Who are the guys? And I said, we got to get Casey Kerwin and Ryan Luzic, because at the time, obviously you guys were both working with Dead Zone, and that's probably a video for another time, how those side of things work for those that don't understand. But you and Ryan, already essentially teammates in a way. And then you're, one of the largest streamers of iRacing, really one of the largest iRacing content creators. So that was just a bonus in itself. And you and Ryan have worked so well together. We've had so much success right out of the gate. Honestly, in our first year, we had that 1-2 at Vegas. I think that was the second race of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think we have a pole or two or something, and then now at this point we have a world championship in just our second year. So it really doesn't get much better than that. But I just do want to ask you, what does it mean, not just to be a world champion, but to do it with a mainstream esports organization like XSET? Because going back to why I'm so passionate about sim racing, a big way to grow that and bridge the gap between mainstream esports and motorsports is through mainstream esports organizations coming in and being a part of it, kind of stepping away from the Call of Duties of Fortnite, getting involved in this space. So you're almost a part of, I don't know what to call it, but I feel like we're kind of pioneers in that, right?
Yeah, because it's like, even they mentioned it in the broadcast, like, most of the time when you're thinking about NASCAR champions, you're hearing the Stewart Haas's, the Gibbs, all the big NASCAR teams that are involved. And to have, esports orgs in that, obviously they understand the gaming space as well, sometimes a little bit more than the NASCAR teams themselves do, right? But they just bring like different, like kind of just a different vibe and different like thought process. And I mean, you can just see it. Like, I mean, I don't know, it's just there's just different, like esports orgs and NASCAR teams just kind of act differently, both like perfectly fine and in good ways. It's just a different vibe, different tone can just bring different kind of energy to stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's cool. Anytime, honestly, my biggest thing that I like about like with streaming and doing sim racing and all that is like, if anyone is like not interested in racing or anything of that nature, if we can get anyone interested in the slightest, even if it's, or even just like if it's NASCAR people that me doing road course, it gets them interested in road course. If road course people, there's so many road course people that are like, man, I love watching the NASCAR stuff now. All that kind of stuff is like what I enjoy doing with it. And yeah, if anyone like, follows XSET, there's a couple times, like even back when I was at Road Atlanta for Petit Le Mans, and people came up to me, they're like, dude, are you like, you're an XSET fan? And I was like, no, I'm actually on XSET. They're like, for what? And I'm like, for racing. They're like, dude, I didn't know I had anything with racing. Like, I gotta check it out now. So like, yeah, it's just cool, like to get different people noticing it and getting involved with it. It's yeah, it's just all for the better for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. I think you brought up a good point. The NASCAR teams and the esports orgs both have their benefits and bring value in different ways. But I think for what I was saying before, I actually kind of misworded it. I'm always trying to bridge the gap between motorsports and mainstream esports, and sim racing is where that occurs. So bringing mainstream orgs in helps grow it for everyone, just makes it a little bit more popular, a little bit less niche. And a lot of the other XSET content creators or pro players in other disciplines of gaming are learning about it because of you and Ryan and your success supporting you guys each race. And then, like you said, Twitch streaming too, what I've discovered, it's so funny. Like, I've literally been streaming and there's people in chat that like, I have a automatic message that comes up like a little bit, like a little biography. It's like a sentence basically, but it mentions that I'm a NASCAR driver. People are like, wait, you race in real life? Because like some of the people have discover me on Twitch, whereas a lot of people watch me in real life and go, I never knew you had a Twitch, and I've been streaming for years. So it's like interesting how that dynamic works. You have people who never knew that you were either a part of XSET or, maybe knew you were an XSET but didn't understand that you were a professional sim racer and stuff. So
Right,
it's
right,
just so
yeah.
funny how some people discover you in different ways. I always thought that was kind of unique and pretty cool. That means you're building a community, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
big event, big win. Congratulations. We got a lot more success to go. I mean, that's the ultimate
sure.
goal. We've accomplished it, but I guess now we just want to go do it again.
We came up 5 points short of a
Of the
perfect
team.
season.
I know.
Would have been perfect. But
I
we
know.
came 5 points short. We almost had it.
Well, someone there too
Um,
said, I'm pretty sure it was on the broadcast because I heard it through the speakers, that we won both. So I was freaking out. I'm like,
Yeah, I
clean
know.
sweep,
'Cause I heard we
baby.
got close. All right, I figured it was close after I saw because Steven's like 2 tire mishap. I think he finished like 22nd or something. So, and then I didn't realize it till the end, but Ryan got all the way up to 5th. I think he
Yes,
had to come from pretty deep.
he
So,
did.
um, yeah, like once I saw that, I was like, man, we probably got pretty close, but I didn't know exactly how close. And just it's crazy because 5 points over the whole season is literally just 5 positions. It could have just been one spot better, one every 4 races, basically.
Yeah,
One
it's
spot better for one
unbelievable.
driver. Like, that's so close.
If I'm not mistaken, the team championship too is really, really tight between 3 teams, and
Yes,
we
yeah.
gotta give credit to Ryan Luzic because he did come from deep in the field, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that his last lap pass for 5th is what got us 2nd. I guess the last thing I'll ask you is, now that you've gotten this, what do you have in store for the next couple weeks? Are you gonna chill a little bit? I know you put in what 2,000 laps for Phoenix. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know the exact number. It was definitely I knew I was for sure in the range of 1,500 to 2,000. We maybe like I wouldn't even be surprised if I was like over 2,000 without knowing, but I don't know if it was quite that much. I mean, it's and it's funny because I feel like even just for the series in general, I don't test. Thanks to like Dead Zone and like the setup builders, they're all the smart guys. Like I'm not smart. I don't look at a setup. Like even the whole 2,000 laps I ran, I don't think I ever clicked over to the chassis page, besides maybe for one click of one adjustment the whole time. Like I don't ever look at it. They send me like I give the feedback, they give me the adjustments. They're the smart ones, right? So typically they're really good at it, A, and B, like, honestly for most of the season, especially towards the back half, you kind of know your direction you want to go in. You kind of know what's working, right? Especially again, also they kind of hit it like on the head to begin the year. Our stuff's been like the best, arguably, all year, the dead zone stuff. So, you kind of go in, you know what you're trying to aim for, and they get there pretty quick. So it's really just me getting my driving right. So honestly, I feel like I was kind of maybe a little less on the testing side of just like putting laps in. But really and truthfully, with how much I stream in racing and IS and stuff like that, I feel like the racing aspect of testing is just as much or means just as much for me. So I feel like all of it combined is my testing, but just solely testing like solo car runs, working on like tire management, all that. I feel like I'm, not I don't do a ton, maybe like 5 to 7 hours normally total. Maybe on a road course week when it's just a bit more fun to drive and rip around, I'll do a little bit more and be close to like 10. But I was, I, for a race like this, you go past the direction you think you should. You go everywhere, everything. There were so many runs that were just pointless, garbage sets that sucked that we just had to try.
Can't
But
leave
yeah, I
anything
mean,
on the
it all
table.
worked out. Yeah, you
can't-
can't. Like you can't leave any
Yeah, and if you
question
come up short,
unturned. So,
all you're gonna do is
ah,
think
what if
about
I would have tried
what
this?
more you could have done.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you do all you
So,
can that's in your own power, and I can't believe you made that many laps. It's insane, and
yeah, I mean,
it's
like, yeah, my
the
normal sorry
racing
to cut you
side.
off, but
No, I was
my
just
my normal like stream stuff is I'm typically like streaming. I try and do like I don't like just loading in NIS 2 hour stream and done, right? Like I'll stream kind of like a 4 or 5 hour period in the afternoon, kind of most of the day, and then if I do testing, it'll be like for an hour or two at night. But really, I kind of cut it all out that 2 weeks. I did my NIS, which I felt like was still helpful, right? You still get the reps of racing people and, you know, getting in like those 3 wide situations, your spatial awareness, all that still on your game. So I feel like I still needed that and sanity, go have some fun for a little bit, not like just sitting there testing, right, the whole time. So, yeah, I did all that, and then I kind of cut down on the streaming a little bit, but we still hit the main NIS races and stuff, and yeah, just sweated away at testing for 2 weeks, and it paid off. So
It definitely paid off. And I think real quick too, like you touched on an interesting point. I always felt like all the officials you do, there's no way that hurts you because it's just
yeah,
more laps on the sim. You're honing your craft, constantly improving, getting better, and you can't put a price on that real world experience. I'll say, like when you're in a
real
testing situation,
situation
yeah,
experience. Yeah,
yeah, when you're in a test session, I mean, yeah, you're turning laps, you're working on your setup, but like once you find a balance that you like, or you have speed, and now you got to learn how to race it. But I feel like you already got
yeah.
the racecraft side down, and what's really interesting is you do a lot of everything on iRacing. You're not just an oval guy. You do a ton of road racing. I think you hit 10,000 I rating on road, didn't you? So
No,
or
no,
close. You got close,
I'm
right?
like, I almost got the 9 on road.
Oh,
We're
okay.
trying to we're
What?
trying to hit 10K on oval.
Either
Yeah,
way,
yeah, we're close
Casey.
on
For
oval.
those
Yeah,
of you who don't know, just look at his iRacing. Shout out iRacing companion app. Check that out. But look at iRacing, his iRacing stats because they're insane. But, like, he is a top 0.05% in like every discipline on the sim, right? So I feel like the fact that you do so much in all the different disciplines is good for you. Like we always talk about in real life, the guys who, Kyle Larson runs 60 dirt races a year or whatever it is
yeah,
on top of his schedule of NASCAR racing. So like there's no way that hurts. It's seat time. It doesn't matter what it is. If I could race every week, in the middle of the week in something or go to the go-kart track every week, I would. I don't think that hurts. So it's definitely been paying off for you. Really proud of you, bro. We gotta do something maybe preseason next year or do more of this throughout the season. So if anyone wants to see that, let us know. But I guess back to my question. So you answered it. You said you put ton of hours, tons of laps in for this. Are we gonna chill for a little bit? Or are we going right back to streaming and sweating in the off season? You got any leagues coming up
yeah,
or any big events?
yeah. Nothing. I don't think there's really anything crazy right now. I mean, I'm still gonna do the normal streaming. I mean, it's fun. Like it's my fun. Still getting my racing in, right? Streaming and enjoying it with everyone. And obviously, especially because NIS is kind of my main oval thing. So kind of once NIS ends, I kind of switch to more road for a bit, and it is kind of like get a little bit away from mobile, especially after the amount of laps we did this week. Like I just kind of thought about it, like the fancy old Formula Room I have. Shout out GSI and Tony Kanan, but I haven't used it in like 3 or 4 weeks because I just been like even for Homestead was probably the most I had tested up to that point because we had to make sure to get in,
Yep.
right? And then Phoenix was just triple that. So yeah, I haven't even had my Formula Room on in like 4 weeks and had some fun. So we'll probably be more switched to road for a bit. Still obviously doing oval and having fun with that, but yeah, definitely a little bit more road racing. And I think there'll be obviously the big like 24 hours at Daytona endurance in January, but other than that, I'm not really sure other big events. I mean, if stuff comes up, I'm sure I'll race it, but nothing that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
Well, that's good enough for me. I appreciate you stopping by and letting us chat and talk about it. I'm looking forward to trying to run it back next year. We just got a sweep with the team standings next time. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess we do have another goal to still achieve is
Yep.
be first in both of those. But excellent year, breakout season. I felt like ran up front. It seemed like every single week you had a shot to win, especially towards the end of the year, and just
Yeah, and we got
phenomenal
most
job.
top tens on the year.
Yeah,
Me and Steven and I were tied going in,
and you closed it out.
and we got one over him. So there we go. Perfect.
You love to see it.
Consistency.
Love to see it. Well, thank you, man. I'll talk to you later.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that sit down with Casey Kerwin. Pretty much just chilled and chatted it up, got caught up talking about his sim racing journey, what this accomplishment meant for him, and what's next. So if you want to see more videos like that, please let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. It's been your boy, Anthony Alfredo. I'll see you all in the next one.